Hi, this is Jamie from Stonemeyer Games, just off screen here, and today I'm going to talk about some of the 25 different, I'll just hold them up here a second. Here are some of the 25 different meteorite cards found in expeditions. So the way meteorite cards work, I'll show you a few here. I won't go into I'll share some other ones in detail, but here are a few that I'll use as an example. So here are a few cards from a few meteorite cards. So meteorite cards, the way they work is their standard core value is 1 power. But if you have melded at least one meteorite, the cards get better. So if I've melded at least one meteorite, the core value for this card becomes 2 power. Same for this card over here. Sometimes they're two different, or they're guile instead of power. When I play the card, if I play the card here and I put a green worker, so if I played this Charterstone and I put a green worker there, it says move to any unoccupied face-up location. So it lets me move around a little faster than normal. Sunstone over here says I can vanquish. So if I put a yellow worker there, if I played this card, I put a yellow worker, I can vanquish. I can remove some corruption from my current location. And if I've already melded 2 meteorites, this card has an additional power. It says gain 1 guile per adjacent face-up card. So it's an additional way to enhance this card if I focus on melding meteorites. And what does melding mean? Melding is one of the ways that you level up your mech. So I'll use this card as an example here. So I have my mech mat over here. If I would take this card and I gain a meld ability, I'll turn it sideways and I'll slide it under my mat like this. Slide it under there. And when I do that, when I meld, right away, I gain $1 per 3 value corruption token. So if I have a few of these 3 value corruption tokens, I'll gain $1 for each of them with a max of 3. So I'll gain $2 because I have these 2. And say later on, and so now from now on, if on any following turn, if I play this Charterstone, instead of just gaining 1 power, I'll now gain 2 power. Now say that I also meld this Charterstone. If I slide the Charterstone under there as well, sorry, got the little stickers on under here. So say I meld the Charterstone as well, slide that under there. When I do that, I not only gain the meld benefit for the newly melded card. So I gain $1 per adjacent face-up card. So I'd want to meld this when I'm in a good position on the board to gain dollars for adjacent face-up cards. Not only would I do that, but I would also activate this ability. I would also, again, gain $1 per 3 value corruption. And so this is a strong sense of engine building in the game. I'm repeating and getting better, hopefully getting better at scoring the cards that I previously played. So I might try to form a strategy around certain types of meld abilities so I can meld similar cards. And meanwhile, I'm getting more meteorites that are now stronger because I've melded multiple meteorites. So let's look at some of those meteorite cards specifically. I have 2 purple ones here, so I'll go through each color. There are 5 of each color of meteorite card. So there are 5 purple, 5 red, 5 green, 5 yellow, and 5 blue. Here are 2 of the purple ones. So with these purple ones, I have the Morph Stone and the Cull Stone. The Morph Stone says, change a worker to purple. So if I have this red worker on my mech mat or on one of my cards, I can change this to purple. I'm morphing it into a possessed person in this land. So I'm changing that red worker to a purple worker. And it becomes available. So if I had this worker on a card, on an active card, it becomes available. That means it moves over to my mech mat and becomes available for me to use on my next turn. Or the current turn if I have a way to do that. Also, if I've melded 2 or more meteorites, I can gain 1 power per purple worker. And you can see that this ability down here always ties to the meld ability. So that says gain 1 power per purple worker. When I meld it, I gain $1 per purple worker. So this is kind of a built-in combo similar to the item cards. It's a built-in combo that I can gain that and then gain this. And part of this is about timing. Like how long do I keep this card as an active card or a card that I'm using and playing to gain this ability versus the right time for me to meld it and gain money for every purple worker that I have. The Cull Stone says that when I place a purple worker there, I vanquish. I get to remove corruption. I'm culling corruption from my current location. Also, if I have at least 2 melded meteorites, I gain 1 power per 5 value corruption. So this is one of the harder types of corruption to get. Here is a 5 value corruption there, gain $1 for, or gain 1 power for that. And then of course, this one says gain $1 per 5 value corruption token that I have. Those are some purple examples of meteorites. Here's some red examples. I have the red stone and the quest stone. So I'll put some meeples on them. You don't have to, so I could play this quest stone without a meeple on it. But in this case, I am playing a meeple on it. So the red stone says gain 1 face-up red card to your hand. So yeah, gain 1 face-up red card to your hand. So that is looking at all the face-up red cards within the locations on the board. I'm gaining that card, and not only am I gaining it, but I'm gaining it to my hand. Normally when you gain cards, they go to your active row, not to your hand. In addition, I can gain 1 guile per red card you control. So there's kind of a cycle of cards like this. There's one card name or color name of each of the different meteorites, and it's similar to this. You'll gain guile or power per card you control, and similarly, I'm gaining $1 per red card you control. There is a max of 3 with that. We debated putting the maxes or not, but the Automa team made a strong case for some of the loopholes and ways that you can go a little bit too deep into a certain color and just gain a ton of money from it. And so I wanted it to feel powerful, but not too powerful. And the Automa team, the solo team, tends to find those types of loopholes really well. The Quest Stone. The Quest Stone says gain 1 face-up quest to your hand. So this is a red card to your hand. This gains a quest card specifically to your hand. You're looking for quest if you're playing the Quest Stone, or you're drawn to them. And similarly, you're gaining 1 guile per quest you control. If you meld it, you'll gain $1 per quest you control. Quests are the third type of card: items, meteorites, and quests. Let's go with green now. So we have a map stone and a brave stone. So the map stone says gain a map from the general supply. So this is one of the few ways that you can just gain a map. You can just gain a map token. Typically, you'll gain maps by exploring new locations, but you can also gain them by finding a card like this. So just gain a map. And then this says gain 1 power per map that you have. So this could add up to quite a bit actually, if you've collected a lot of maps. And of course, the meld ability is gain $1 per map when you meld that card in, every time you meld another card as well, once you've melded that one. And again, I'll stress that again. So say I've collected 3 maps, right? I meld this card, I gain $3. I then meld another card, I gain another $3. I meld another card, I gain another $3. You can score quite a bit from these cards, and that's one of the reasons why we did put these caps on them, because you are scoring these melded cards up to 4 times. The Brave Stone, I really like the art on the Brave Stone, what Jakob did there. So vanquish, just outright, you're brave with this stone. It is giving you the power of bravery, you vanquish. Gain 1 power per 4 value corruption. I showed another one like that earlier with 5 corruption. This is for a 4 value corruption token. Here's a 4 value power token right there, or yeah, you need to spend power to get this corruption token. And similar scoring ability there. 2 more colors here. So we have yellow. So we have the gold stone and the mine stone. If you place yellow workers on these cards, so with a mine stone, place a worker on an active card. So this is a card in your active row. So say this is my active row right now, or say this is my active row. So I have the gold stone there. I decided not to put a yellow worker on it. I gain just the guile up here. And then say on a future turn, my next turn, I play the mine stone. I put a yellow worker there, place a worker on an active card to activate its ability. So place a yellow worker there and activate its ability. So it's a way to just play an extra card essentially that maybe you didn't have a worker for at that time. It might be, I would say most often it would be a card that you just gained. So if I gain the gold stone, I gain it to my active row. but I don't get to put a worker on it. I'm just gaining the card. I'm not actually playing it. So I've gained it, and then if I play the Mind Stone on the next turn, I can activate that ability using the Mind Stone. Gain 1 power per place worker. That's pretty cool, because you will often be placing workers on cards. Cards are where you place workers. Gain $1 per place worker. With the Gold Stone, you can gather with this card. So you can gather with the Gold Stone. That's the ability where you're gaining a location's benefit. So if I'm at this isolated settlement, I could gain a blue worker or a yellow worker at the isolated settlement, right there. And then gain 1 power per adjacent location. So this is kind of a position-specific one where you might try to position your mech in such a way that you can gain as much power as possible. And there is a limit to how many locations you can be adjacent to, so there's no limit on this ability. Gain $1 per adjacent location. Last, we have blue. A few examples of blue. And again, these aren't all the cards. These are 2 out of the 5 for each color. I have the Cipher Stone here. So the Cipher Stone says discard a card. So when you discard, you would take a card from hand and place it in the active row. So say this card was in my hand, I could discard the Fuel Stone to my active row to activate its ability. So I don't even need to place a worker on the Fuel Stone. I'm discarding it to activate its ability down here. And this, I would activate the full ability. So I would not only vanquish, but I would also, if I have at least 2 Melding Meteorites, I would also gain 1 power per turquoise corruption. That's this color. Instead of, there's orange and turquoise. And for the Cipher Stone, gain the previous card's core value. So if I had this Mind Stone over there before it, so this is the previous card in your active row, I would gain this card's core value, either 1 guile or 2 guile. Well, actually, it would definitely be 2 guile, because I know that if I'm getting the previous card's core value, then I'm gaining, then I already have 1 Melding Meteorite, and I'm gaining 2 guile for that. This one says, this is another timing one, gain $1 per active card. So if I have 3 cards in my card row there, actually now I would only have 2 because I'm melding it, I would gain $2 for melding the Cipher Stone. And then for the Fuel Stone, I'm vanquishing. This is the primary way, or one of the ways that you can vanquish in the game. They're also built into one of your starting cards, but there aren't many other ways. So I built one into each of the colors of cards, the color cycles. If I put a blue worker there, I could vanquish and then gain 1 power per turquoise corruption. This says gain $1 per turquoise corruption, so it's looking for the corruption that you gain from spending guile. Yeah, so those are some examples of the 25 different Meteorite cards in the game. Each one is unique. Each one has different unique art on it as well. And yeah, it's an interesting decision point as to how long you want to keep these cards as active cards that you're playing and using, versus melding them and making other Meteorites stronger because they play off each other both mechanically and thematically. Let me know if you have any thoughts or questions in the comments below. Thank you.